Tacoma Public Works prepares for winter weather. Students take the gavel, and Salmon glass art comes to Tacoma. These stories and more on Tacoma Report. Hi, I'm Laura Proctor. Angie Foster is on assignment. Winter weather can be unpredictable. That's why the City Street Operations Division is preparing now for storms during this cold weather season. Stacey Ellifrit has more.
When snow is forecasted, city crews set a plan in motion to deploy a snow fleet across Tacoma and continue operations throughout the storm event.
Typical plan for us is that we're going to listen to our forecasters, take that forecast, and then we're going to come up with an operational picture, meaning that we're going to decide how many trucks we're going to use, what we're going to set up.
Crews train and prepare before winter weather hits to get familiar with the equipment and these operating procedures.
When we go into full operations, we've got approximately 23 vehicles operating at one time, 13 snow plows, and we have brine trucks and other spreaders behind that, assisting with the road network.
Streets are plowed and de-iced on a priority level, with crews working to clear one lane of traffic in each direction. The city's snow routes map color codes each of these levels.
How we instruct and train our staff is that we have 3 priority routes: primary, secondary, and auxiliary routes. They're clearing the roadways in that order also. They're going to start with the primaries, clear those, then step down to secondaries, and then auxiliaries. At any given time, we're really trying to control about 85% of the arterial network in the city and keep traffic and transit going.
During a storm, residents are encouraged to take public transportation if possible. Pierce Transit and the city work together to make sure transit routes are ready. There are also other tips for drivers to remember when preparing for winter weather.
Prepare yourself. Make sure that you park your vehicle adjacent to your house or home or condo on a flat surface. Plan your trip using that snow route map, and basically just prepare yourself for the next day. Fuel the car, blankets, emergency kits, and just be prepared for that inclement weather.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacey Ellifrit.
Visit the city's inclement weather page for more tips on winter weather preparedness and to view the updated snow routes map. The city's Portland Avenue Vision Zero Improvements project recently received a grant for over $2 million from the Puget Sound Regional Council's Transportation Alternatives Program. This grant provides funding for the preliminary engineering costs of the project, including a traffic study, community engagement, survey, and design of Portland Avenue from East 27th to East 56th Streets. The timing of construction is based on these results and will depend on future funding opportunities. For more information, including a schedule of community engagement and planning efforts, visit the city's website. The new Landlord Fairness Code went into effect December 8th. The initiative, also known as Measure 1 on the ballot, passed as part of the November general election. The Landlord Fairness Code includes new rules and requirements on late rent fees, rent increase notifications, evictions, relocation assistance, and more. The city's existing rental housing code was updated by the City Council in July and will not be replaced by the Landlord Fairness Code. Both codes are in effect as of December 8th. The Office of Equity and Human Rights held online informational sessions to answer questions about the two codes and how renting in Tacoma is changing. A video of the informational session is now available on the city's website, along with a question and answer fact sheet, the full text of the new Landlord Fairness Code, and other information about the changes. Nearly 60 high schoolers participated in Student Government Day this year. They met with the mayor, Tacoma City Council, City of Tacoma executives, and staff to discuss key issues on how the city operates. Students played the role of the mayor, Tacoma City Council members, and representatives of community organizations in a simulated city council meeting.
You may speak.
As a constituent, as a person who lives in this city, I have something to say about the conversation that you're having.
Students also toured city departments, the Center for Urban Waters, and the Tacoma Police Department headquarters. Jobs 253 is a workforce development initiative jointly spearheaded and managed by the City of Tacoma and Tacoma Public Schools. The program includes specific opportunities to earn industry-recognized credentials in various programs. It also offers opportunities to participate in service work year-round. The program continues to fulfill its goals of reaching students who may be credit deficient or low income. Since the program's start over 10 years ago, more than 1,000 students and counting have been served by this program. For more information, visit jobs253.com. During the holidays, water plays a role from cooking meals to cleanup. Tacoma Water offers some tips on water smart conservation and your holiday preparations. Defrost foods like turkey and ham in the refrigerator instead of running water over them. Before washing dirty dishes, scrape leftover food into the garbage or add it to your compost pile. If you clean dishes in the sink, fill 2 sinks of water, one for washing and one for rinsing, to avoid running the tap. Run full loads in the dishwasher using the lower setting. Get the most out of your laundry by running full loads. Check for leaking faucets and toilets and repair them. Best of all, reduced water usage also helps lower your utility bill, which is a great reason to celebrate. Discover all ways to save time, water, and money at mytpu.org/watersmart. The Tacoma Creates annual report is available for review. This report includes highlights of the programming supported by Tacoma Creates. It also includes examples of how this public funding supports cultural sector sustainability and growth, and how Tacoma's cultural organizations contribute to a vibrant and healthy community. A major highlight from the report is how $4.5 million was distributed to 56 local nonprofit organizations whose missions are to advance arts, culture, heritage, and science. To check out the report demonstrating the impact of this third funding cycle, visit tacomacreates.org. Coming up, I'll be talking with city officials about a long-term approach to community safety. Don't go away. A comprehensive long-term approach to community safety was addressed to City of Tacoma officials. The focus including connecting with neighbors, enjoying clean streets, providing safe places for youth, and supporting local families and businesses. A community action strategy was established. With me today is Gabe Moali'i to discuss what the strategy is about and how it affects our community. Hello, Gabe.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome to the City of Tacoma. You're a new family member as of August.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Sure.
All right. So, Gabe, can you tell our viewers what is the inspiration behind creating the strategy?
Yeah. So the inspiration was that we really need to look at community safety as more than crime and policing.
Yes.
So community safety action strategy is our long-term, holistic, strategic approach to community safety that includes traditional public safety response, but also includes a lot more, being connected to your neighbors, living in neighborhoods that have clean streets, having places for kids to play. And the reason for this is 2 things. One is because that's what we've been hearing from community members. They've been telling us for a long time what makes them feel safe in their community. So when we ask that question, it's not only police. Mm-hmm. And the other big part of that was coming through a recommendation from the 21st Century Policing Report that said, 2 things. One, your community needs a shared definition of safety, and you need a coordinated strategic approach.
And so, Gabe, can you let our viewers know what's different about this community safety action strategy versus other initiatives or projects in the past?
Yeah. So I think one thing is important, that it's building on past work. And there's a lot of work that's already happening right now around community safety. I think one of the differences is it's really helping set up that framework to think about community safety and not just public safety. And so what that means is looking at kind of all the conditions that make people feel safe.
Yes.
And so it's really starting with looking at the long-term social, economic, environmental conditions. That's kind of where we start with the strategy. And then we look at how do we really invest in people and prevention. So, not that we can solve all crimes or prevent all violence, but, if we can, as much as possible, that's where we should focus. And then we really do need to respond effectively and with care. And so that's looking at not just, again, our public safety response, but really looking at alternative and additional responses. Right. And then promote healing and repair. Yes. And so this is really where we're looking at how do we come together after things have already happened? How do we support individuals and community-wide healing and repair? And so all of these elements together, form community safety. And I think that one of the differences is that we're not just focusing on one piece, that we're really focusing on how they all work together, yes. How they interrelate, and really kind of setting that blueprint that the City of Tacoma can use to take actions, but also be kind of a call to action and a call to partnership for really everyone that's working in Tacoma, including our community members.
Yes, and that healing piece is very vital as well, know, and we speak a lot about community. So why is the word community so central for this initiative?
Why it's so central is because really this is about the community's vision and the community's definition of safety. So it's not necessarily what, we think of safety as city employees, but what's the community's vision? And then how do we translate that? And how do we address that through, all the levers and all the different ways that City of Tacoma can? So, and I think another difference is, there's a difference between perception of safety and the lived experience of people. Yes. And so we're really centering that in this to make sure that it's not just about, that we're really making sure that everyone feels safe and addressing all the different ways that different populations and communities feel safe, which is different for really a lot of our populations and communities in Tacoma.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, Gabe, can you tell our viewers what are some of the pieces or projects that are already underway or in place that are contributing directly to community safety?
Yeah. So one of the most exciting, and I think that's been a long-term, or a lot of people have been working on to make come alive, is one is our HOPE team. And so this is what we're calling an alternative response to 911 calls. So in general, when people call 911, you either get a fire response or a police response. But we know that there's a whole range of reasons why, people need what support looks like in times of emergency. And so we've been standing up different responses. And so one is a behavioral health crisis response team. We're also working on having community service officers that are more can address a wider range of issues than just, violent crime or assault. And so just really kind of broadening the types of response that's available to people to add capacity, and also making sure we're responding in the right way to what community needs. So that's something that's going on now that will absolutely be part of the community safety action strategy, but has been in the works for a bit.
Absolutely. And so last question or so, Gabe, what do community members say they want from the plan?
Yeah, so what we've been hearing, it definitely varies, right? Yes. But it definitely, one of the most common themes that comes up actually is a sense of belonging. People want to feel like they belong in this community. They want to feel like they are connected to their neighbors, that they have, places for their families and their businesses. And then it's things like infrastructure stuff, so making sure that they have safe sidewalks or safe ways to walk to park, or lighting in their neighborhood, or that their neighborhood's clean. So there's lots of different things that make up safety. Right. And again, we do hear police presence, police response, but it's usually not the first thing that comes up in people's conversations.
Well, and I think it's very vital and important, and it speaks volumes to this strategy that the community is being involved, that they have the opportunity to be involved, and I'm sure the community members appreciate that. So, just to wrap this up, what can members of the Tacoma community expect next on the Community Safety Action Strategy?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because, community safety, while the City of Tacoma has a large role, we're not the only ones, and we're not, we can't do it alone. So
Right.
We really need everyone to come together. And so I think one thing that we'll be working on, and this will be more in January, is going out and doing more community engagement that's really reflecting back. What have we already heard? Just to make sure that's, we're getting it right. And that we're calling people into partnership with us to say, this is as we like to say in our office, a complex problem. We definitely don't have all the answers,
Yes.
but we have some, things that we think we want to do, but we also want to make sure that we're calling everyone to the table to say, hey, it's not going to be one solution.
Yes.
It's going to be many things, and we want to make sure it resonates with the City of Tacoma, the residents, the strengths that exist here, the gaps, and so in the coming months, one thing, we have a new website, so that's live. We've presented to council, so that also is a deeper dive and some more context on a little bit more how the strategy is laid out and the scope of the strategy. And then we'll expect to see some more public-facing events, and then probably some more focused community engagement. So again, kind of going back to the community, we know that safety impacts different communities differently, and so we're going to do more engagement on how do we actually work with some of those communities that are more impacted by crime or violence or some of the conditions that lead to unsafe neighborhoods.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Gabe. That was a plethora of information. We appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to seeing it progress and hearing more about the program. We hope to have you back on the show again. I'm sure we will. And once again, thank you for being here and sharing that information with our viewers.
Thank you.
All
It was
right.
wonderful to be here and meet you, and
Yes.
it's been a very great time.
You as well. Thank you, Gabe. When we return, downtown Tacoma lights up for the holidays. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show. Tacoma's 78th annual holiday tree lighting kicked off the holiday season again. 4, 3, 2, 1. This annual event launched the busiest time of the year for Tacoma City theaters. Hundreds of families were on hand for the celebration featuring Santa Claus, music from the Pantages Theater, and live jazz by KNKX Radio. The Tree Hall marks the holidays in downtown Tacoma through the first of the year. In 2018, the creation of the Salmon School art installation began right here in Tacoma. The exhibition brings attention to the planet's dwindling salmon populations and what that means for the future of the Earth's ecosystem. It's been displayed in Bellevue, the United Nations Climate Change Summit in Glasgow, and even in the Queen of England's ballroom. Now the Salmon School returns to where it was birthed and is on display at the Museum of Glass now through September 15th, 2024. Artist Joseph Rosano shares his inspiration for the art, the mission of Salmon School, and how it feels to have it displayed in Tacoma for the first time.
I came up with the idea for the Salmon School because I wanted to do something beyond making beautiful things. How do you talk about a vanishing natural world, which is a difficult subject, so that people appreciate it? And the way I thought about doing that was to engage people in the idea that's beautiful. I thought that if I worked with a community, and glass is an ideal material with which to tell this story because it's fragile, transparent, reflective, just like the resource and the ecosystem. And if people were given the opportunity to give what they could to help tell this story, the story became much more powerful. The salmon were made by the team here, myself, and then individuals that came down and blew glass with us on the floor. And then we made some of the fish at Hilltop. This is the first time it has been displayed at Tacoma. I think the reason you come down to see this is, one, because it's beautiful, and its beauty is only skin deep in the sense that when you look in the piece, you see yourself. Salmon are something that are a seemingly endless resource, and as a fisherman and somebody who sees, salmon as something that spawns in a river, something that lives in the same water that you or I are, consume every day to survive, and then goes out to sea, out to salt water. And that salt water renews this creature and brings it back as a bright, shiny object. I thought that if I created a bright, shiny object that I showed the world, and that was created with, the assistance of others from around the world, that salmon could be a symbol for what we need, which is cold, clean water. And if the next level of understanding was informed by youth, so we're demystifying science and talking about, what this thing represents, then you've gone full circles. I think the reason you come down to see this is, one, because it's beautiful, and its beauty is only skin deep in the sense that when you look in the piece, you see yourself. And that gives you an opportunity to reflect on your role in keeping the planet healthy for generations to come.
The City of Tacoma's administrative offices will close Monday, December 25th, in observance of Christmas Day, and Monday, January 1st, in observance of New Year's Day. The Tacoma Recovery and Transfer Center will also close on Christmas and New Year's Day. If your trash pickup day falls on or after one of these holidays, collection will be one day later during those weeks. For additional transfer station information, check out tacomarecycles.org/collection calendar. Dark, rainy nights might be a good time for binge watching TV, but for some Tacoma folks, it's a time to keep up with a healthy, active lifestyle. In our next story, Dave Gordon has some tips and advice for those dedicated runners who keep in step during the dark days of winter.
Rain, sleet, dark of night are all elements of a normal Northwest winter. But there are people focusing on a healthy lifestyle or just trying to make good on a New Year's resolution. They know there's more dedication to outdoor running than anyone can imagine.
I don't think it's great to run in the winter, but this time of year it's dark out most of the time. So if you work all day and you're gonna run, you're gonna end up running at night.
You can't let weather stop you. If you're gonna run, you gotta run when you can.
We all know about the dark days of winter. This means runners need to take extra precautions with low visibility. Rob Huff is with Tacoma Runners, an active running group in the city.
Drivers really aren't used to looking for runners in most cases. They just don't see you. They're looking for other cars or things that are going to hurt them.
Joggers may have to find the light of day to stay safe, while others take on the task with true Northwest technological tenacity.
And then this is just called like a blinker, so you can have it flashing or just have it on. So again, just kind of helps cars see you as you're going on the sidewalk.
Rob's basic advice for a good, safe run is to play it safe with common sense.
So don't step out in the street in front of a car expecting that they're going to yield the right of way, because they may not even see you. Pick a route that has some street lights on it, because you will be able to see a little bit better and cars might be able to see you a little bit better.
So feel free to ditch your treadmill and hit the road with a good, healthy Tacoma run. After all, the days are starting to get longer.
Any opportunity you can to make yourself more visible on public streets helps keep you safer.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Dave Gordon.
That wraps up this edition of Tacoma Report. A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. We leave you now on a participant's point of view of the 10th annual Tacoma Santa Parade held this past Sunday. I'm Laura Proctor. Thanks for watching.